I am Dynasty Outhouse, and I have a trading problem.
And I'm Brian Haar, and I also have a trading problem.
I also apparently have some boogies I just can't get out.
Welcome to the show, everybody.
Oh, man. And I am Dynasty Outhouse, and I did not mute the YouTube channel. It's echoing. It's echoing. Where's the freaking button? Mute it. Mute it.
This is our first rodeo.
There you go. All right. Hey, everybody. We live. Well, this isn't technically a session of the Trade Addicts podcast. We are doing... Yeah, I know. It was just echoing in my ears because I had the YouTube... Damn it, Jesse. This is the first anniversary YouTube live of the Trade Addicts podcast. It was March 31st, a year ago, that I gave my first 10-minute little podcast. And it was the most over-edited, boring thing I've probably ever... I'm too afraid to go listen to. But it was out there. It was done. And for some reason, people listen to what I'm talking about. And no less, it got Brian along. See, look at that. He was just so moved to tears. He had to go away from the microphone for a second.
Wipe my eyes.
Yeah, see, there you go. So before we actually get started, nice. Before we actually get started, a quick thank you to everybody for actually listening for some reason. Is Outhouse hiding? Did they not see me? You see me, right?
I see you on the Hangout, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if you're on the YouTube channel.
All right, well,
they don't see you. They don't see you.
Oh, it's really just you. Hold, is that me? I think that's my fault. Hold on. How about now? No? Me?
I don't know. Nope. Uh-oh. But y'all can see me, right?
I guess that's the important part, right? Everybody just sort of needs to see Brian. Oh, I see me. This is awful.
Do they see you? Do they see you? Do they see you?
Okay, well, we're going to start talking football, and I'm going to try and fix this as we go along because, you know, this is...
I think you're good. I think you're good. Everybody in the chat is saying you're good. I can still see you. They can still see you.
Yeah, but now it seems like it's not showing you.
Oh, see, I'm here. Can y'all see me?
Okay, whatever.
Okay, so they can't.
Nobody really cares. Nobody really cares about you anyway.
Nice.
So
now we only see Ron.
You know what? I need to complain. This goes along with how my day's been going. This morning, get my kids up, get my kids ready, get them in the car. Car won't start. Got some nice clicking noises. Dead battery.
No.
So get the kids out of the car, get them in front of some cartoons, text my boss, say I'm going to be late. Call my father-in-law. Tell him to come over. Give my car a jump. He comes over. My car freaking starts. On its own. No hesitation in the motor whatsoever. Like, thanks. Great. Wonderful. And now this. Nothing of importance happened anywhere in the middle of that.
This is whack. This is whack. It's okay. They don't come for me anyway, so it's all good.
Man, I'm pressing so many buttons. I have no idea what I'm doing. All right. So whatever. Let's talk about CJ Anderson going to the Lions. Let's just do that real quick and talk football while I actually click buttons.
Yeah. So
do you care about Kerryon Johnson's... Okay, clearly you care about Kerryon Johnson. Does this affect Kerryon Johnson's value for you going forward?
I don't know. Matt Patricia scares me because he's in New England, like from the New England coaching tree. So I have no idea. I mean, to be honest, I just have no idea. I don't know. I mean, Kerryon is clearly like, I think he showed enough last year. Like he's a pretty good runner, right? When they use him. I mean, but they bring Anderson in. I don't know if they're going to use him or not. I mean, they seem to like LeGarrette Blount enough to give him some work last year, and Anderson's probably a better version of Blount. So I don't. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I hate it kind of for fantasy because, I mean, it looked like Johnson was in line just to get massive workload, and now it's, I don't know. I mean, I still think he's the guy to own in that backfield. Clearly, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I think I fixed it. He is clearly the best guy there. And I mean, going back into college, he has a little bit of injury issues. So, I mean, I feel like you don't want him getting 80 touches a game. And I'm always, how do you say this? CJ Anderson's not great. He's not terrible, but he's not great. So, again, it's better than them drafting the second round running back. So, I feel like it's like how everyone wrongly feels about Carlos Hyde going to Kansas City being good for Damian Williams. But this is the actual version of that. CJ Anderson's not stealing this job from Kerryon Johnson. It's just not happening.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. I mean, it just, I guess it just makes, it just makes you nervous in the sense that, I mean, this guy just came in and took over for Todd Gurley during the most important part of the season. So, it's just, I would rather him not be there and rather have not have heard this news. But
you knew they were bringing someone. They had to bring someone in because they're not going to ride with him, carry on Zach Zenner and Theo Riddick because Theo Riddick's not even a running back.
Zach Zenner, man, I'm a truther. Not really. I just
no.
Yeah. Yeah. So Frank is saying touchdown upside pretty much gone though, right? I definitely think it hurts. Yeah. I mean, I think CJA is going to get those carries down close to the goal line. I still think Kerryon he'll get his, but it's not going to be, maybe it's not going to be double digits. Maybe it's going to be 7 or 8. So,
all right, let's flip this around. Are you less worried about Gurley because the Rams didn't go nuts trying to keep CJ Anderson?
I have not been worried about Gurley from the get-go with this thing. The guy's 24, maybe 25. Every NFL running back has arthritis in his knees. Does it keep him out of the Super Bowl? I mean, that's a little concerning, I guess, that they went away from him, I guess, in the biggest couple of games there of the season. So that's a little bit concerning, but I just, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like we learned our lesson with Gurley, like, his second year in the league where he ran for 2.6 yards a carry and into the back of his offensive lineman and stuff. And, everybody sold low and regretted it. So I don't know. I feel like with Gurley, I'm just not overly concerned. I don't think, I think if it was really a concern, they would have brought somebody in, a high or re-signed Anderson because he played well in that offense while he was there. So I'm not concerned about Todd Gurley.
All right. So, okay, let's pull a J Mike. Let's give a quick shout out to the chat. We have NP Merrill, Dave Ogden. We have Aaron Desmond, Jesse Reeves, James Gerard, Frank S, Frank M. We have many Franks. We have Brian McNeil, the Mac Attack from Trade Addicts 1. What's up, man? I always wish I could. I'm not as cool as J Mike is. I always wish I could be. Like
we all wish we
could be as cool listening
as
to J Mike podcast. He's just so damn good at what he does.
For sure.
Oh man, so I'm doing a mock draft, which the Married to the Games guys threw together, and it is my last pick. It is the 18th round. Should I take Jay Ajayi? Chris Thompson, Jack Doyle.
Jack Doyle rules. Sorry, I had to.
Let's see what rookies are available.
Take a rookie.
Drew Lock, Bryce Love, Evander Holyfield Jr. I know that's not his name. Wow. Yeah, man, people went rookie crazy towards the end. Drew Lock, it's done.
Is it Superflex?
No.
Oh.
It's the last round. Whatever. But that was a fun one. It was clearly rookies were involved, and I had no idea what I was doing. But I got Nikhil in like the 6th or 7th, so I feel like that's a pretty good sign.
Yeah.
Jesse Reeves want me to say his name with my chest. Jesse Reeves. Do you think that's what he meant?
No, I don't. I'm a little terrified right now.
We should all be.
Jesse
So before we get
Reeves!
started,
Is that what he meant? I don't.
I'm
You
terrified
should
now.
be.
That was a little scary.
You should be.
Okay. Man, it's funny. Like, I should have learned this last time that I can't speak and read at the same time. So having to chat is just a completely horrible thing. Another reason, man, I just like kiss J Mike's ass the entire time. We have a bunch of questions. We had a decent week of Trade Addicts trades, so we have a couple of things to talk about. But first, I'm going to get a little real with you fellas and ladies, if there are any ladies actually listening. First, God damn it, guys, TA7, let me believe I have willpower to say I don't want to start another league this year. Just, it's, who the hell knows, but let me believe it. Yeah, I mean, it is my fault. I said those words out loud. I think it was last week or the week before. So yeah, completely my fault, but seriously. Still weird that people listen to me. Okay, but no. I'm going to get real on you.
We're getting real.
I wrote in capital letters with a lot of exclamation points. If you want a counter, send a decent offer. Seriously, I need to tell you what I woke up to this morning. Hold on. Let me actually. I wish I should have this pulled up. I'm terrible.
Someone's going on blast right now. You're putting somebody on blast here. Somebody's going to hear this and be like, "Oh shit, that was me."
Well, we call this guy Annoying Taylor, so if he listens, nice. You'll see why. What do you think is a bad offer for Michael Thomas? Let me ask you that question.
Corey Davis straight up. That's for you, Stompy.
Would you trade Corey Davis for the 204, 206, and 404?
No.
Yeah, that's what he offered me for Michael Thomas. That's
hashtag trash dynasty trade.
Oh yeah, shout out.
Yikes.
Dynasty Trades HQ. That's not even a trash dynasty trade offer. That was like I rejected with a comment, "Go back to sleep, you're still drunk." And then screenshotted that to the commissioner and said we should kick this guy out.
Yeah, that's one of the worst ones I've heard in a long time. I mean, you see some wacky ones on Twitter or but wow, that's pretty bad. A second and two seconds and a fourth. Jeez, oh man. Wow.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's bad.
So here's the thing. I countered somewhat realistically. I countered with Juju, Calvin Ridley, and the 102 for Michael Thomas. It's an over ask, and it was meant to be an over ask. Mm-hmm. But something that if he, for some god unknown reason, accepted, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I won this league last year handedly, and Juju, that's your boy,
my boy,
Calvin Ridley. I am apparently just super buying into Calvin Ridley. I'm getting him.
I've noticed that. Yeah, a couple of the leagues that we're in, you've picked him up too. So
yes,
yeah.
I think I grabbed him in both of in 5 and 6. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
James Gerard. Well, he sent shit to the Outhouse. Can you blame him? That dude probably doesn't even know about Dynasty Outhouse, and that's So no, he just sent shit. Exactly. Take the 102 out, and Jesse would probably pull the trigger. That's the point. I was trying to send a message.
Yeah, I think Juju in either one of those pieces would probably be enough for me.
Right. So, I mean, I won this league last year, and part of me just wants to be serious with this guy and be like, why am I going to trade for picks? But this dude has literally never sent a good trade offer, so I'm not going to even really bother. Whatever. So, like I said, if he accepted that, I wouldn't really be upset with it. But back to the original point, and to stop shaming this dude who now I kind of hope isn't listening, because I've been sitting here and the screen's going back and forth on mine. I think was the problem before, Brian. I think we're fine.
Ooh.
And plus, like they said, nobody wants to see you anyway.
Until they look at me, and then they want to see more.
It's just those big headphones you got. Size matters. Breaking out the original Trade Addicts shirt. Shout out Jake Anderson for that lovely, lovely little brain guy.
There's two of them in existence. So,
yep, 2.5. The first one they sent me was like deformed, but I didn't throw it out.
Nice.
Man, that shirt just sidetracked me. What the hell was I talking about? Okay, no, but in general, so we're not just shaming this dude.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been like sending just complete trash, and then they'll say something like, I was just trying to spark a conversation, or, feel free to counter. I am not going to counter unless you give me something worth countering. If we're something so far off, I'm probably just not going to do anything about it. I'll just say, come at me with something closer, and then we'll work at something, or start a completely different conversation, because anything I counter off something that's so off, it's just me sending a trade offer. That's all it is. That's not countering, because I'm not going to be able to do anything, from what you just gave me. And I mean, like, this is all for fun and everything, but yeah, there's a little bit of power in receiving the first offer to be able to counter. And it's part of the negotiation tactic. And that's, again, I'm usually fine sending the first offer, but if you really rather just make me offer, just ask me to send an offer. Say, I want Michael Thomas. What would it take? Usually I'll probably just say an offer, but I'm not really that difficult to fool into get me to send a freaking trade offer. But just in general, not dealing with me specifically, because, yeah, trade problem. I'm fine with your first offer not being great. My first offer is often not great. Sometimes it is. But don't be... offensive is the wrong word, because you should never take offense to anything stupid such as fantasy football. But don't be a jerk. Just send a decent offer.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, I think it's frustrating. You get the email and it pops up and it's MFL, right? And it's like, oh yes, like offers coming in. And then you look at it and it's like, oh, like what are you thinking? Like half the time it's, what are you thinking? I mean, I understand too. I mean, my first offers aren't always my best offer. I mean, that wouldn't necessarily be the best move, I think, most of the time. It depends on your league too, obviously. I mean, if you know the people in the league, or you're in a league with a bunch of sharks, I mean, you're kind of just wasting time sending low ball offers. But it sucks. It sucks getting those and you're like, oh yeah, trade offer. And then it's like, what in the world? Like, would you take this? Would you take this? Would you even consider it? No. I mean, nobody in their right mind is considering 2 seconds in a fourth for Michael freaking Thomas, or a deal like that. So, yeah, I mean, just, I think, and here's the other thing I would say, a lot of us have now been playing this game for a little bit longer than maybe people that are just getting into it, and that's okay. But there are so many places now to find dynasty values and how the community as a whole values players. And there's something to be said for having your own evaluations of players, okay? But you can get a general feel. There's so many tools. I mean, how many times have we talked about it? It's, Twitter polls, it's trade calculators, it's ADP data that's all over the internet. So there's a lot of information available. It's probably a good idea if you're playing in some dynasty leagues. If you don't know how to evaluate players, try to find out, or ask, hey guys, where do you get your evaluations from? Or how do you end up valuing a player at, X, Y, or Z? There's a lot of information out there. So, I always try to say that too, because I think a lot of us operate under the assumption that you should know this, you should know better. I always hate on Twitter where it's like somebody asks a question about a trade and it's, this isn't even a question. Like, why are you even asking a question? Well, we I mean, we all started somewhere, right? So there's a part of me that is sensitive to that because we all started somewhere. But there's also a part that gets frustrated at times because there are so many places to find information about dynasty player value anymore that it's tough. It gets frustrating. So I get it. But yeah, that's one of the worst ones I've heard in a long time. So
I'm glad I could bring that to you, and I'm glad it wasn't me that made it.
nice.
Real quick, they are talking about auctions in the chat right now. Disclaimer, I'm not very good at auctions. I've always said patience is not one of my virtues, but I feel like that's what you need to do well at auctions. Let's just, because what you're supposed to do, everyone always says, is nominate the guys that you don't want. Say you're a late round quarterback guy. You throw out Mahomes, you throw out Wilson, let everyone spend their money. The problem is, I'll throw out, Mahomes, and all of a sudden, Mahomes is going for like 15-20%, and I'm like, this is Mahomes in a super flex league. This dude should be going for 30%. I'm gonna end up bidding on him, and I end up winning him for 25%. And I'm like, nice, that's exactly what he should. Team built around studs should cost about 25% of your total budget. But then all of a sudden, every other quarterback's going for like 15%. And I'm just like, what the hell, man? And then I'm completely screwed because I overspent on, of course, he's a stud and that's going to be awesome for me. But like, I completely just missed out on what the actual marketplace is. So patience is absolutely something I think is necessary in an auction. And I'm terrible at it because I don't have that. So do you, who's someone who is not me, have any auction advice for the chat?
That's been my experience as well, to be honest. In the, I don't have as much experience in auction leagues as I do in some other formats, but in the ones that I have been in, it has been, that's exactly, when you look back at the teams, at the end, usually the guys that don't go early and often are the ones that end up having the most rounded teams. Now, they may not have as many superstar players, but they have more balanced teams. So, and that seems to work better, especially in big leagues. One of the auctions I'm in is a 16 teamer, and it was So I actually did well in that one. I finished third in that league, so I was pretty proud of myself. That was the very first auction that I was in. But yeah, I think patience is definitely a thing. And just understanding, when a player is a value. So, when that top 20 player is going for, 12 to 15% of your budget instead of 20 to 22% of your, but you know what I mean? So it's looking for those opportunities to get value where it may not be as, or looking for those opportunities to take advantage of players who may be going for less than market value. So
you brought it up. Are you a studs and duds, or are you a sort of even matched roster kind of guy?
So I've been a studs and duds guy. See, so here's my problem. I'm not sure if you or anyone else in the Dynasty community or out there listening knows this or not, but I have an affection for Saquon Barkley. So the most expensive Dynasty asset in the world currently. And so in 3 auctions, I own him in 2. And he is a significant chunk of my budget. So, that is what it is. So my rosters have been studs and duds in those leagues. Having said that, I think moving forward, I will try again. It's hard. Like you said, it's kind of hard when you see all these players going off the board and you're like, oh man, I haven't bought a player yet, and so you want to jump in and get your feet wet. But I think moving forward, I would try to make my team a little bit more balanced. It seems like that's a little bit better strategy, at least from my experience with the couple of auction leagues that I'm in. So,
All right, we had a great question in the chat. Jordan Holloman, he has a question. If we could go back to the start of your dynasty career, what would you do differently, or what advice would you give yourself? I honestly don't know. I didn't do anything that stupid. I think I actually did, and it just worked out in my favor. Like I overspent to get Mike Evans the year Mike Evans went nuts. So I mean, I got very, very lucky. I sent Jordan Matthews the year he actually had a ton, like the year after his rookie year. We need a ton of value. Uh, the 103, which thankfully ended up being Corey Coleman. And then 2017 first, something else for I think it was like Mike Evans and Carlos Hyde. And then Mike Evans went nuts. And I'm going to tie into Bobby Koch's at Rec Fantasies question. What's the favorite trade you've ever made? Now, I don't know if you remember this, but even like 6 years ago, dude, this is the year Larry Fitzgerald is going to retire. And back then, it was Michael Floyd who was going to take over.
Oh.
I loved Michael Floyd so damn much. I had Michael Floyd and the David Johnson owner, who David Johnson, I don't know if you guys remember, his rookie year, he scored 8 touchdowns on 12 touches. That's insane. But no one thought that was real. No one thought that was going to happen. So this dude offered me David Johnson and a third for Michael Floyd in a second. And I went nuts about this trade. Like, this is the longest I've ever thought about a trade before accepting it. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. Imagine like fighting with yourself about this. Michael Floyd for David Johnson. That is what would I go back and tell myself? Just F it, man. Just go have fun. Don't for a second care about this, because first of all, you're going to join about 3,000 leagues, so don't worry about it. You know what? Here would be my advice. Go a little easier on Jeremy Maclin. I had Jeremy Maclin at one point. When I was in 6 leagues, I literally had 100% exposure to Jeremy Maclin.
That's awesome.
He officially retired.
I saw that. Yeah. Rest in peace.
He's been out of the league 3 years, but nope, officially retired.
Yeah.
So, Brian, what advice would you go back and give yourself?
That's a great question. I think.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
NP Merrill in the chat said no drunk trading. Screw that, buddy. Drunk trades are best trades.
Yes, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that.
Go ahead, man.
No, that's okay. So if I had to look back and say, give myself advice at the beginning of my dynasty career, I think I would say. So there's a couple things. The first thing is don't take things so personal.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, and we just spend a good portion of the show talking about, getting crappy trade offers. And for me, I think it's just, I saw a couple comments in the chat, and it's absolutely true. I mean, you get a couple bad offers from an owner, or you see a couple bad deals made by an owner, and it's like, man, I'm not trading with that guy. Like, that's, he doesn't know what he's doing, or maybe I am trading with that guy because I can take advantage of him or whatever. But we get crappy offers, and we do get it pisses us off, it does. And I think it's okay to get frustrated by crappy offers, just like we just talked about. But at the end of the day, this is a game, and it's not the person is typically not trying to take advantage of you in a way where, or as much as you think they are. So I think that's one thing. And then the second thing is just to focus on relationships, because, for me, I mean, obviously it's easy to see this community is amazing overall. The dynasty community and the fantasy football community in general is awesome. But it took me a lot longer to dive into that and tap into that, I think, than you know, if I could go back, I would tell myself, don't be hesitant, jump engage with people. You know, if you're new to the format, or you know, just new to the fantasy community in general, dive in, like talk to people, just reach out, because there's a lot of people willing to help and willing to talk to you, and willing to talk football. I mean, my favorite thing about this community is just talking football. I love the game of football, and I love talking about it. So I think for me, that's what I'd say. Don't be hesitant. If you love this game, dive in and start talking to people. Even people that you think won't talk to you or pay attention, they probably will, because most of the people in this community are awesome. So,
Okay, two things. First of all, David Hill in the chat is asking, which do you prefer, Easter candy or Halloween candy?
it's Halloween candy, and it's not even close.
Here's the reason why it's Easter candy.
Oh my
And this
God.
is my
Are you
only
kidding me?
answer.
If you say Peeps, I'm going to quit the show.
I
You
want
were
to say
gonna
Peeps
say
just to make you quit the show, but I don't actually
I'm not
like
really
them.
gonna. Please don't kick me out because I said
Reese's peanut butter cups, they have the holiday specials.
oh,
The eggs give
that
you the
is
most peanut
actually
butter. That's all it
so.
is. That is why I choose Easter over Halloween. You get more peanut butter in the egg than you do in the pumpkin. So bam, Easter wins.
Well, but here's the only thing I'd say about that.
And I don't like Cadbury eggs. I'm gonna put that out there. They gross me out.
Yeah. So here's what I'd say about that. So that's a great point, actually, Russ. That is a fantastic point. The Reese's peanut butter eggs are probably like top 2 or 3 candy bar candy of all time. So like, I'm with you there for sure. And you're right. You definitely get more peanut butter in those, and they're amazing frozen too. I don't know if you're into that, but oh my gosh, they're
If
unbelievable.
I ever have the patience to not eat them right away. Yes.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, exactly. But here's what I'd say. I think so. You do get more peanut butter per egg, but I can literally Halloween for like a week in different places, and I don't have to buy any of that. All I have to do is walk to my neighbor's house. So like,
I'm still fine. I'll pay 50% off the next day. I mean, I don't eat a lot of candy. I never really did. My two go-tos have always been peanut butter cups and Twizzlers. And those are, and if you ever get Twizzlers in Halloween, it's the little ones. And I want a real Twizzler. You know, size matters. Hashtag. Yeah. So I mean, that's my feel. But okay, we're gonna get back, you know, to our previous question. You brought it up. Is there actually anybody in the history of your fantasy football playing you have blacklisted trades?
no. Okay. So no is the answer. No. There is one guy.
Yeah.
There is
there's always
one guy. There's one guy in a league I played in for 5 years. It was literally the very first dynasty league I joined, and I just left it this year. So I won the league the last 2 years, and I left because it's super inactive and it just drives me nuts. I can't take it. And there is a guy that I would make what I felt were decent offers. I'm not saying the best offers ever created, okay? But decent offers, like conversation starters for sure. Okay? And the guy just he just, this is shit and you're nuts and you don't know what you're doing and you need to go find like player values and you are whatever. And then I won the league twice in a row.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I mean, and the guy, and I beat him in the finals, I think last year. This year he didn't make it that far. But I won it again. So so you who don't know who you are, take that. But no, I've never, you know, I would have, if he would have reached out and made an offer and it was a decent offer, I wouldn't have. I don't know. I guess I just, as annoying as it is to get shitty trade offers, it doesn't really do anything for me to blacklist a guy. You know what I mean? That doesn't help me in the long run. So, I mean, I would have a conversation like, listen, these offers aren't good at all. Like we're way off in terms of value. I don't know, where do you get your information? How do you develop your player values? Different things like that. But I know a lot of people don't have that much patience. So, I don't know. That's I've never blacklisted anybody. I'll trade with anybody. But I've been tempted to. So
2 people. In the history of my fantasy football, I've been playing fantasy for a very long time. Like, I don't remember, 17-ish years, maybe 15. I've been playing Dynasty for 6-ish. I don't know what year it is anymore, 5-ish. 2 people, and one of them's not even in a Dynasty league. One of them's in one of my long-running keeper leagues. This dude is not great at fantasy football in the first place, but we're trading, trade talks back and forth. And at one point, he says to me, I was all about to accept this, but then my friends told me not to do it, so I'm not going to do it. I'm like, all right, dude, then I'm literally just never trading with you again. Because F that noise. If you're not going to, like, give me your friend's number and I'll text them. How about that? No, goodbye. And it's been 3 years and I haven't sent that guy an offer in 3 years. Why are you in this league? Why are you playing? If you win, do you give them money? Do they chip in for your startup fee? Like, get the. If it was I don't know if it would feel different if it was a dynasty league, but because you don't trade nearly as much in keeper leagues, especially it's only 2 keeper, so it's not that big of a deal. But still, that was just Teddy. None of those people listen, so I can name names. The other one. This actually was the Dynasty League. This was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, before Dynasty Outhouse was a thing, I joined this league as Russ Fisher, sort of noob to Dynasty. Some guy offers me a trade, and it was a bad one. It was when Des Bryant was tanking, but still worth a late first. Like it was when people saw the writing on the wall. He offered me like a 3rd round pick. And I'm like, no, dude, that's no, And I sent him a counter offer and he sent me a 3-paragraph email about how I was wrong and how I need to learn to value players. And I said, okay, well, this is going to be the last I'm going to tell you on the subject. And I screen printed 4 different calculators, ADP, everything. And I'm like, it was nice talking with you. And I literally never talked to that guy again. I quit the league in a few months later, but I was just like, whatever. F you, man. I was about to curse, but I didn't do it.
So you know what I think is what I think is funny. So when you and I do trade deals, like, so I would say I probably check. I don't use trade calculators exclusively like for player value, but if I'm really like if I get an offer and I'm like, that's interesting, like that seems off to me, then I'll go to a calculator just to see, like I go to DTC and just see like what they're like, how they value, right? I don't think with you and me, when we're talking deals, I don't think I've ever done that. Well, no, that's not true. I have done it because we've screenshotted DTC on a couple deals, but I would say probably within the last 6 months, I don't think I've done that.
Wait, hold on. You ready for history?
You're gonna try to take advantage of me right now, aren't you? And send me a deal that is totally lopsided but might seem decent.
I just accepted a trade from JD and TA5.
Go district
live. Trade done. Trade alert to steal from these guys. I received the 212 for Antonio Callaway.
Say that again?
The 212 for Antonio Callaway.
You sent
Antonio Callaway
for the 212. You sent Antonio. Okay. So am I supposed to give my thoughts on that?
What else are you here for?
To look good. Look at this. Are you serious? Everybody's really excited.
How did you feel saying that? How did you feel saying that out loud?
It felt really weird. A little weird. I mean, I already know how sexy I am, but God, that felt even weirder. This is so strange. Anyways,
Get it off. Get it off.
yeah.
Move on.
So I JD's egging me on. Bring it. I don't mind it.
Remember, like 3 months ago when Antonio Callaway was going for a late first,
Yes.
and
So here's what I'd say. I don't hate it for him.
oh yeah, no, there's super upside in
I mean
Antonio Callaway.
Right. I mean, obviously Odell coming in there changes things. I mean, clearly, big time. But I still think he's going to get on the field, and he's pretty electric when he's out there. So I think there's some value there for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure. But I also don't hate it for you. I think, you got a second. It's another flyer on a player that maybe you can, maybe you get that same production or a little bit better out of, depending on how things go. But it's a good deal for me. That's about. I mean, if I owned him, I don't know that I'd give him up for that, but I also don't know that I'd pay a whole lot more than that for him. You know what I mean? So I think
I just also wanted to accept a trade during the live show. Is really what it can.
Why don't you give me Nick Chubb, since I've been working on it for like 2 months?
Send me an offer. We'll talk about it.
You know who's coming in the offer, though, so
I'm not taking Antonio Brown.
Nobody wants AB.
What league was this again? That was 4, right? My team's not good enough in 4 to take Antonio Brown. No, it's not 4.
It's 2.
Oh, 2 it might be. I don't know. Everyone was telling me to blow that team up. So I feel like that's the default answer whenever you put, hey, Twitter, this is my team. What should I do with it? I am guilty of the same thing. I just find the first exploding GIF and blow it up.
JD's sending offers everywhere right now. This is wild.
But my real reasoning behind taking the 212. I'm still a freaking week behind on podcasts. I listen to way too many, and I can't get above 1.6x. Anything above that, I can't understand a word they're saying. I don't know what it is about. It's not even 1.5, 1.6. I'm good at 1.6. I'm listening to the Dynasty Dummies, and they're doing a mock draft, just completely based on their likings of players. I love the second round of this draft. And it's really weird because even just last week, I didn't really like this draft. There was no one I was really in love with. And now I'm just like, wait. All these names they're saying in the second round, I'm like, I kind of like that guy. I kind of like that guy. So I think I'm in on the second round of this draft. So getting me the 212 is just getting me in a place I wanted to be, I should say. And Antonio Callaway probably has the same hit rate at this point as someone I'm going to get at 212, especially in a super flex draft. So that's my feeling about it.
Yeah.
Did he send you? He sent you an offer. Check your inbox.
He did. I checked it. JD's waiting out there. He's like, "We'll do something about it on the air." I know he is.
Yeah, seriously.
I don't know that I can. He came after one of my guys, a couple of my guys. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, he sends me a freaking Antonio Callaway for the 212, and he sent you a real trade.
Oh yeah. This is real trade. Do you want to know the players involved?
I absolutely do.
I don't know if I should do that though. I don't know if I can do that.
You're so bad.
Well, I hate that shit. I hate I hate that. I hate when people do trade negotiations like out in the open in chats and stuff. It drives me nuts. I mean, we can do it here probably, but
all right. So we're gonna completely pretend this never happened.
Yes.
Jimmy Lou 55 wants to know, what would you expect to get for Travis Kelce in a 2 tight end league if you're rebuilding? Now, I kept this question for 2 reasons. First of all, to ask you about Travis Kelce, because I think you value him like people probably should, even though I don't, because I still hate tight ends. And because I don't like 2 tight end leagues, and I need to talk about it for a second. I am in 1 2 tight end league, and I like the league in general. I just hate the idea of 2 tight end leagues, especially because it's a 14-team 2 tight end league.
Try a 16-team auction 2 tight end league.
That's twice I made vomit noises on this show.
It's intense.
But okay, here's the thing. People will always say, what about the super flex? The point of playing two quarterbacks was to raise the value of quarterbacks when they were getting so pushed to the side. The 32nd best quarterback is more playable than the 15th or 16th tight end. I mean, you are literally just looking to survive in your second tight end spot. It's gross. And I hate it. And it artificially bumps the value. Like at least in Superflex, your second quarterback, like that you're starting, you start quarterbacks really because of their floor. They will have a much safer floor than almost anyone you're going to put in your 10th flex spot.
Except Marcus Mariota.
Shut your mouth. God damn, what? I'm yelling at people that aren't sitting in front, and you have to just throw that right at me.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, man. Oh, shit. All right.
I hope Saquon stubs his toe.
Oh, you did not.
I don't want him to get hurt for real because I own a few shares, but I just want you to get that little bit of, my bae got hurt. And then you freak out a little bit. But
you bring that evil in here.
Again, I would not put that on anybody. I do not want Saquon to get hurt. I am sorry. It is all my fault when it happens.
I'm driving to New Jersey to do bad things to you.
Sexy.
If that happens. No, not in the way you want bad things done to you.
Hold on. Let me. Yeah, that one light didn't actually do much.
Oh shit!
Damn. Okay, I hate two tight end leagues. That was my point.
Yeah.
What do you think Travis Kelce's value should be in either a two tight end or the Trade Addicts leagues where it's 1.75? So it's almost twice the PPR, which is a decent value bump.
Top 15.
We took him what, 111?
I took him 111 in Trade Addicts 5, and I took him I don't have it up. I took him in both Trade Addicts 5 and Trade Addicts 6. Trade Addicts 5, it was the 111. And Trade Addicts 6, it was the 208. So I took him 11th and 20th in those two leagues.
And that's still only having to start one tight end. If you have to start two tight ends, I feel like Kelce is, especially if there's a tight end premium as well, no doubt first rounder, right?
Oh yeah, I think so.
I don't think it's something I could do personally, but he should be 100%.
Yeah, I think so. I definitely
think
so. So unless you're somebody who the only reason I would say not is if you're one of these people that. So obviously in Dynasty we're always looking into the future, but depending on what window you're looking at, if you're one of these people that looks beyond 3 years, maybe not, because he's 29 years old.
And if you look beyond 3 years,
but yeah, I mean how many Dynasty leagues
stay alive for 3 years?
Exactly.
And if you're in one of my leagues, you definitely aren't keeping a player on your team for 3 years.
Right.
Sorry.
So
you go.
Other than that, I absolutely think he's worth first. He's worth a first round startup pick.
All right. So if you're going to trade a first round startup pick, what kind of return are you getting? We're talking 3 firsts, at least. One of them being early.
I think he's worth that I think he's worth that in our leagues, in the Trade Addicts leagues. I absolutely think he's worth that. He and Zach Ertz, and I don't think Ertz is going to do it again. But he and Zach Ertz were top. I think they were top 12. I think they were top 12 players overall, or top 14.
Pretty sure Kelce outscored wide receivers.
He did. So Ertz was 13th overall by a half a point over Kelce. Kelce was 14th overall, and there was 0 receivers that scored more points than them in the Trade Addicts leagues. The top wide receiver was Devontae Adams, 332 points. Kelce had 360. I mean, it's a huge. I mean, look, it's a huge advantage anyway because of the position,
Yeah.
and then when you add the premium and or the scarcity of the position in a 2 tight end league, I mean, it makes him that much more valuable. So
I mean, I
he's a
get it.
first. I think in these leagues, he's absolutely worth a first round startup pick.
Yeah. I think my biggest problem is I have gotten lucky with tight ends the past few years. Like I was in on Ebron and Cook this year. Last year, I can't even remember who it was, but like the past 2 or 3 years, I've gotten very lucky with the whole streaming tight end and finding my guy thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I got stuck in that of tight ends where I just didn't know who to start. Okay, you know when that was? Oh, who the hell was it? There was a year when I think it was Tyler Eifert and someone else. There was two dudes that were doing awesome, and I had them both and never started the right guy. It was because it was the year Tyler Eifert stayed healthy and scored like every catch was a touchdown. I had like him and maybe Jordan Reed or someone, and every time I started one of them, they got like chipped their ankle or something and missed the rest of the game after one catch, and the other guy caught 2 touchdowns. But I feel like if I got screwed over in tight end, I would be all aboard the paying for one of the top 3 guys. And I think I'm coming around on it. I mean, I've traded for Ertz a few times. I got him from James in Trade Addicts 3. In the league, I actually won last year. I traded for Ertz on my playoff push. So I think I get it. I don't know if I would do it in a startup. I don't know. I should, but I don't know if I could do it.
Yeah, I mean,
When you win both 5 and 6 this year, and it's because of Travis Kelce, I that will do it. I'm telling you right now.
Well, and I just think about the trade. So Trade Addicts 2. I made a big trade with our boy Aaron, FF Obscene. I'm not sure exactly what his handle is.
That sounds right.
Yeah, and we made a big trade. You know, he felt like he wasn't going to compete, so he started kind of going in rebuild mode, and I was making a push, and I made that big trade that included Keenan Allen and Travis Kelce coming to my team. And Kelce, I mean Allen was good too, but Kelce really propelled me in that league. And helped me finish really strong. Now I didn't end up winning. I got knocked out, I think, in the semis, but I mean that it made a huge difference on my team. Like I just set like Kelce, it was like guaranteed he was getting 22. He was getting 22 a week. I mean, it wasn't even, I didn't even think about it. And he legitimately got, after I traded for him. Okay, so I traded for him, I believe, in week 8, maybe 24, 34, 15, 36, 50, 25, 18, 14. So the last 2 weeks of the fantasy season weren't huge weeks, but still pretty darn good weeks for tight end numbers. You know, I the thing for me with Kelce specifically is, so you were talking about Eric Ebron, okay? And so first of all, you got lucky with Eric Ebron. I mean, that's what it was. It was absolute luck. Nobody in their right mind expected that this season. Not that. I mean, they might have expected him to take a step, but not that.
Do I need to go pull up Twitter? What did I say?
I know. You said it on the show first. I know. But okay, so Travis Kelce outscored Eric Ebron by 109 points. Okay. It was like 8.5 fantasy points per game. That's huge. That is huge. A huge advantage. He outscored Kittle by like 70 in the Trade Addicts leagues. So he had 360. Kelce had 360. Kittle, tight end 3, had shit. I just lost it. Sorry. I know it's here somewhere.
I just move on, man. I'm bored.
He had a lot. It was like 6. It was like 60. Okay, he had 290. So it was 70 points. So 4.5 to 5, somewhere between 4.5 and 5 points a game at the position. I mean, that's a huge advantage. So I don't know. I he made a big difference on that team, and that made me want to get him in those leagues. So for me, he's absolutely worth the first round startup pick. But I get it.
Right.
I know you
Yeah.
hate tight ends. I love tight ends.
I'm really trying to change my point of view, and that's I'm gonna avoid that butt joke.
Dad joke number one.
That's what advice would you give yourself? Don't be so damn stubborn. Learn, grow. Paying for these top 3 tight ends might be worth it. Except then you get, people like Graham and Gronk who just sort of in the middle of nowhere. But I guess you kind of have that risk with every position.
Mhm.
All right, but we're going to move on because, man, we really have become a tight end show. It's ridiculous. All right, we're going to do a trade addicts trade.
Trade addicts trades.
And since we're a tight end show, we're going to talk about tight ends again. Trade addicts leagues, 12 teams, Superflex, PPR, tight end premium. Now, this is important in this one, 0.05 points for return yard. Trade addicts 3, David Njoku and the 404 for Tyler Lockett and the 303. Now, this was a me trade, so why don't you tell me what you think of it?
All right, repeat that. I have to hear this again. It was
Njoku and the 404.
Yep.
For Tyler Lockett and the 303.
So, gosh, I think I say this all the time. I think
no. Don't even say the words.
It's a fair trade. I do not like I am not a fan of Tyler Lockett. This is tight end premium. Njoku's playing with Baker Mayfield and all those other weapons that are going to get a crap ton of attention. And he's going to be running across the middle of the field, and he's a freak athlete, and he's 22 years old. I would prefer the Njoku side. I know that's not who you got in this trade.
That is not who I got in this trade. I got Tyler Lockett in this trade.
Yeah. And you listened to our boy Eitan because he was on the show last week and was talking about Tyler Lockett. And you listened to him.
It's funny. It's not even.
I get it.
You don't need Tyler Lockett to do what he did last year. I was trying to find it on the Twitter poll, but I can't find it. Tyler Lockett, especially at the price I paid for him, isn't going to be a top 3 or 4 wide receiver on my team. Mm-hmm. I like David Njoku. I love the idea of David Njoku. I love the value of David Njoku because he's super athletic. I was always a big fan of him, except the problem is he's now what?
Option 4.
OBJ, Landry,
Chubb.
At best, you're looking right there at Njoku.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly like Spoonie says, Njoku is great in theory. Now,
but here's the thing. Here's the thing I would say about that, though. So I'm going to counter that real quick. So Baker Mayfield at Oklahoma had Rodney Anderson in the backfield, right? He had CeeDee Lamb and he had Marquise Brown on the outsides. And he had Mark Andrews. And who was the superstar of that offense while Mark Andrews was in the offense? Outside of Mayfield. Well, yeah, outside of course. But who was this guy? It was Andrews. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, I think all the weapons actually bringing in Beckham, I think helps Njoku long term. I really do. I think Njoku is going to run seam routes 4 days.
Well, you know what? Bringing in Odell puts Landry back in the slot, which takes away from Njoku.
No. It just means it means Landry's running 8-yard ins, and Njoku
I bought a couple of Landry shares, by the way.
Njoku's running 15 to 20-yard seams. So when they focus on Landry after he catches 4 passes for 9 yards and 3 first downs, then Njoku's going to get loose.
We got to institute points per first down in the league side Landry.
There you go.
I'm going to go put polls up.
Just change the rules. That's that's exactly.
Oh yeah, no, forget that. I'm the commissioner. Iron Fist. We're changing rules.
Absolutely. There you go.
No,
I do this. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I committed the cardinal sin. I looked at my team and I'm like, I don't have enough wide receivers. I'm not happy with my wide receivers right now.
Mhm.
So I went for one. Not, clearly not knowing what's going to happen. I mean, the Seahawks can draft, N'Keal Harry somehow and completely destroy anything Tyler Lockett's worth, or, Tyler Lockett can sneeze too hard and break a rib and be out for 6 to 8 months. Who the hell knows? Plus, the homer in me, it's funny. Like, I don't really like having Seahawks on my team. I want the Seahawks to score in any way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be upset when they score because it's not the guy I have on my team.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
I still kind of like having a Seahawk on my team.
Yeah.
And I figure, if anything, return yardage gives Lockett a very safe floor.
Yeah.
So if he's like, we start 10 in the Trade Addicts leagues. So if he's my 9th, 10th guy, and I have a floor of a couple, 5, 8 points because of 2 catches and a couple of return yardage, and if I can get that 60-yard bomb for a touchdown, I mean, that's money. That's a week winning play. So that's the way I thought about this. Well, again, that middle mud of tight ends, who knows who's going to break out to be a top 10 tight end, because there's just so many of those uber athletic guys in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple of others that I'm okay losing Njoku for. So I think this made my team stronger. So I know I was yelling at you for going team specific, but
Yeah.
I mean, my narrative, that's why I did it. But
Sure.
value wise, like pure value wise, this is probably towards the Njoku side, which is why I think the picks, me getting the 3rd, him getting the 4th, sort of evened it out a bit.
Well, and the other thing is, it definitely, the return yardage definitely helps. He had almost 500 yards return yardage, so I mean that definitely helps. There's no doubt about it here.
And yes, James, I know regression is coming. Lockett's not going to catch a touchdown every 5.7 receptions. I know he's not going to have a perfect passer rating, and I don't need electric playmakers on my team like Chris Carson.
Yeah. Here's the thing for me, and I talked about this on our last show. I mean, Tyler Lockett had an amazing season last year. Amazing season. Amazingly efficient season, right? And he's been decent. I mean, he's been a good wide receiver.
I mean, he was a 2nd-round draft pick that they traded up to get.
Yeah. But here's and again, I talked about this last week. Seattle needs a damn number 1. They need a number 1. Doug Baldwin is not a 1. He might be the 1 in Seattle, but he's not a 1. They need a true number 1 wide receiver.
They're going to do something stupid like that.
If they ever did that and gave Russell Wilson a true number 1, I'm talking like a number 1. Can you imagine what that guy does?
You mean nothing because they still just run the ball every play?
Oh, I mean, that's obviously a concern. But if you have a guy that's such a threat like that on the outside, I mean, I don't know. I just Lockett to me, I mean, they've had these guys in the past. Percy Harvin was this guy. Same guy. Same guy. Tell me he's not the same guy. Now, he won him a Super Bowl because he returned. Well, their defense won him a Super Bowl. But Harvin was a decent fantasy own too for a year or 2 or 3 or whatever he was. But I don't know. I'm not. And I know the league has shifted too. The smaller, faster, deep threat guys, Tyreek Hills, and I'm not going to say Antonio Brown because Antonio Brown's one of the best receivers that's ever played the game. So, but the Hills and those types of guys, I mean, they have a place in the game now, and they're studs. I mean, they've become studs. So, I like it's not that I don't like Tyler Lockett. I just don't know. I mean, the guy never had 700 receiving yards in the season until this year. This year, he had an unbelievable season, and it was like 900 and a ton of TDs, which is unlikely to happen again, I think. So that's why I lean. And again, the premiums, that's why it's close here both directions. The tight end premium is significant in the Trade Addicts leagues. So is the return yardage. So I think it's a good deal overall. I think it's pretty close, and I think the pick side, the picks help with evening things out probably. So
you ready for? I'm about to beat you 2-0 so far.
What do you mean beat me 2-0?
Trade alert!
Holy shit! Really? Twice?
Yeah. All right. So here's another trade I'm going to lose the poll on. Trade Addicts 6. Me and Mr. Smooth himself, J Mike. Amari Cooper and a 2020 first. For
Yeah, you saw the
Dalvin
chat.
Cook, OJ Howard, a 2020 second and 2020 third.
All right, so I have a question about this. Before we dive into this, I have a question. So you have in the last week and a half, 2 weeks. So you were buying Dalvin Cook absolutely everywhere. And I've seen you move him in at least 2 leagues.
5 and 6, yeah.
Yeah, since. So what happened?
I have a trading problem.
Okay.
Was it 5? Did I trade him in 5? I felt like I
No,
kept him in 5.
it wasn't. I don't think it was 5. It was me. You traded him to me for Stafford and somebody.
That was 3.
I got 3. That was 3. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, that was me being bored. That was me. That was my sad realization that I needed a better quarterback too than Mariota.
Smartening up.
This one, okay. First, let's talk about the trade value wise. This I did not draft very well in this league. I'll say that right away. Not the biggest fan of how I drafted, and I realized I had a lot of very young guys. So I am sort of turning this into a little bit of a rebuild. I mean, I won't say complete trash because again, I have a lot of young wide receivers. But here, hold on, let me just pull it up. So, I mean, I still have Doug Baldwin, who I can't sell for anything because I think I talked about this on the show like last week or so. I sent out to almost every single team that looked like they would compete. I sent Doug Baldwin for like a second and sometimes, 20 second plus a little bit. That day, Doug Baldwin going for multiple surgeries in the offseason. Like, what the hell, man? You couldn't have waited a day, Doug. Like, really? Come on, man. So I'm stuck with Doug Baldwin on my team. But I have Dante Pettis, Calvin Ridley, D.D. Westbrook, Curtis Samuel, Mike Gesicki, Hunter Henry, Marlon Mack, like Mahomes and Watson, the 203. And I have like 8 20 seconds, which is why I was so willing to send one that way, J Mike's way. But pure value wise, I'm curious about this because I was just doing it for the hell of it and because I like trades. What do you think the difference is between Amari Cooper and Dalvin Cook?
I think they're really close, to be honest. I mean, I don't know what. I don't
ADP actually has Cook higher than Cooper.
Yeah, I would have said they're within 2 or 3 spots of each other.
Yeah, they're about. Cook is 16, Cooper is 21.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that. Wow, Cook is 16.
Yeah, it's getting a little too high.
No, it's beautiful.
For another reason I kind of sold a little bit. I got very good value. Actually, no, everybody hated my side of our trade.
So, but here's the other thing. So okay, so tell me that trade again that you just made with J Mike. So you got Amari and a 2020 first for Cook, Howard, and a 2020 second.
And third.
Okay.
OJ Howard. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think that I mean, I hate to do that, but I think it's a good trade. I think it's fair value wise. I think Cook and Cooper are close. If you're a running back hater and a believer in zero running back and all that, then you would prefer the Cooper side.
Yeah. I like young wide receivers. It's just what I do, and I'm piling up those picks, and I'm fine sending a second and a third for a first, just because if anything, it's funny. I forgot who we were talking about on a show like either last week or the week before, and you said you would not take someone in the first round, but would take him at the 201, and I called you crazy because that's all in your head. But that's real. Like, even if I end up getting the 112 and traded away the 201, seeing that one means something to people and gives it more value. So I'm fine just throwing in a third to make the deal happen and getting that bump from that number 2 in front to the number 1 in front. And I'm you know, I like Amari Cooper.
Yeah,
And I still
no,
have a couple of Dalvin shares, so I'm happy about it. So no, I'm not justifying myself in any way, shape, or form. But uh, David Hill is saying Howard is damn good and he's a believer. What do you think about OJ Howard in a Bruce Arians offense? Now,
I
I know
think
we've talked about it a little bit,
yeah,
and I think you landed on this is the best tight end he's ever had, so we can't really judge. Is that still?
yeah, yeah. I think they are going to. So I think they are likely to throw the ball 950 times. I mean, who the hell is going to run it? Rojo?
I mean, Tyler Gunther would tell you that it's Rojo.
James and Tyler. Yes. No. I mean he might. Yeah. He's going to run it. I guess. They're going to throw the ball a lot, and Howard. I mean, we're talking. Who did Arians have in Arizona? Gresham, Jermaine Gresham. Was that
He
his best?
did really well for 30 seconds.
I don't know. I think OJ Howard is an elite tight end in the league if he can stay healthy. That's been an issue for him. But when he's out there, he's good. He's really good.
He seems to get hurt at the end and they just shelf him, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that's what happened because
we heard the ankle in his rookie year.
Yeah, like he twisted his knee MCL and should have been out for 4 weeks, and he just after the bye week came back like that. I mean, that's some moxie that kid has.
Woo! David just said, "Is it crazy to think that OJ Howard can jump to Kittle's range by the end of next year?"
Not crazy at all.
I don't. Yeah. So I think talent. I think. This one's
okay.
tough.
I'll amend my statement.
He can, but I don't know that he's going. Yeah. So it's exactly what Spoonie just said. I don't think the opportunity is going to be there for him to catch enough passes in order to jump him into that range. I think he's just as talented. He might be more talented than George Kittle. It's just
that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah. The offense doesn't run through him in Tampa. The offense in San Francisco runs through Kittle. So
yep. Are you worried about Kittle when they inevitably draft like DK Metcalf at 2 because Niners get a Niner?
Yes and no. Yes and no. I think Kittle is likely to be a top 5. I'm going to say top 5 because I don't know. That top 3 is so like elitist, right? I think he's likely to be a top 5 tight end in this league probably for a good while. There are people right now that are trading for him as if he were Travis Kelce, and I would absolutely not do that personally. I like Kittle. I like where he is in that offense right now.
But also we've seen Kittle right now not be the main focus of an offense and still outscore every wide receiver.
Right.
Because that ball got spread around, and I'm way too lazy to look up targets, but I think Tyreek, if didn't get equal or more, it was damn close.
Yep. And I think in San Francisco, I think Dante Pettis takes a step. I think Tevin Coleman coming in, they throw him the ball more, or Jerick McKinnon being healthy. I think they use those backs even more so than they did the backs this year. If they bring in a wide receiver, that's has elite upside, and I don't know which one you want to call there, if you want to say DK or if you want to say one of these other guys, but if they bring in one of those big name elite rookies, then yeah, I mean, I can see that impacting Kittle some. Now, is it going to impact him enough to move him out of the top 5? No, I don't think it will. I think he's a good player. He's a very good player. So, that's kind of where I stand on Kittle.
All right. I want to have a little bit of an exercise, a science experiment, if you will. Pull up your Trade Addicts 6 team.
Trade Addicts 6 team. Hardy har har. Okay.
What would you?
God, that is a beautiful picture. I'm looking at this picture of this dude standing there with a championship trophy and some champagne celebrating. Penn State shirt on. It's nice. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, I'm looking at
self-love going on your side of the screen today.
Somebody's got to love me, so might as well be me, right?
It's no one else. I love you, Brian.
That's the truth.
All right, so look at your team.
Yeah.
What would you trade for Saquon Barkley?
Are you John Hogging me right now?
I am John Hogging you right now.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. I know what John Hogue wants. I know what
Everything.
John Hogue. Well, yeah, he wants everything. He wants as much as he can possibly get. But it starts John Hogue and Saquon Barkley. The conversation starts with an elite top 5 quarterback. So Andrew Luck is the first piece that starts this conversation. There's no doubt about it in my mind. So that's where it starts. Saquon Barkley on one side, Andrew Luck on the next side, on my side. That's how it starts. That's how it starts.
See, the problem is I now don't really have I don't think I have the ammunition to get Saquon Barkley with the players I have on my team. Like, I mean, maybe Amari would have to be the start of it. But are you going to trade Saquon Barkley for what? Amari, Calvin Ridley, and hold on, let's pull this up. Hold on.
Are you?
I have two 2021sts.
It doesn't matter. You have to have a quarterback. If you're not sending a quarterback in a deal for Saquon Barkley, you might as well forget about it. This is John freaking Hogue.
Oh, well, I mean, I have the one quarterback that can get it done. I do have Mahomes on my team.
You do have Mahomes. And my guess
I have Mahomes and Watson.
My guess is if you traded Patrick Mahomes for Saquon Barkley, he would probably do that straight up.
Which would be hilarious because he traded it pretty much to the 101.
The only thing worse than John Hogue owning Saquon 01 and calling him Saquon whatever is you owning Saquon 01. Because that would be awful. It would just be disgraceful. No offense to you. I love you. But I am the Trade Addicts co-host that should own Saquon Barkley.
So serious. No, look at your team. Put a trade together. What are you going to send for Saquon Barkley?
Is he even in here? He's not even in here.
Doesn't matter.
What did that say?
He tells me he listens to the show. That's all that matters. So listen later.
Gosh.
So let's pretend we're not no quarterbacks.
No quarterbacks?
Or whatever. Let's see. Who do you have? Josh Allen, Drew Brees, Andrew Luck. You don't have enough.
I would send him. See, I don't know how he feels about Allen, though. I don't think he likes Allen.
Well, Luck and Keenan Allen.
Oh my gosh, that's so hard, though.
That
absolutely
it's gonna have to be.
It wrecks my team, though, doesn't it? Especially the way I'm built. I don't know.
Well, look at it this way. I don't think you're getting Saquon Barkley sending Josh Allen or Drew Brees.
No, I don't either.
Which means this has to involve Luck.
Right. Do you think he'd give me a quarterback back? Like a shitty one, like Marcus Mariota?
You're lucky I'm too lazy to edit. Because I'm just going to hit post on this.
Because he owns him.
I know he does. I'm looking at it.
I mean, I would consider that. Only because I'm an absolute nut job and I'm so head over heels about Barkley. I mean, Luck outscored Barkley by 25 points last year in one of the most unbelievable running back seasons of all time as a rookie. Any year, really. I mean, any season, really. I mean, up over 2,000 total yards. I mean, and Luck outscored him by. And I don't think Andrew Luck last year is as good as Andrew Luck's going to be moving forward. I think he's back, and I think he's back with a vengeance. So
yeah, and they're getting some weapons for him.
Exactly.
Do you think Devin Funchess is going to be their number 2 wide receiver, or do they go draft Hakeem Butler to get that big dude on the other side of the speedy T.Y. Hilton?
I think they draft a wide receiver for sure.
Pretty early, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that particular landing spot bumps whatever receiver that is. If it's Butler, if it's Kelvin Harmon, whoever it ends up being, I think that bumps that receiver significantly because that's an unbelievable landing spot.
So let's say you're trying to win this year. Trade Addicts 6, 2 2020 seconds, or Devin Funchess. Because we're going to assume even if they do draft a wide receiver, and probably the
So I would say if the caveat is I'm trying to win this year, like totally selling out, I can see doing that.
Jim Manila would say he's trying to win every year.
I would not do that. because I think that 2020 seconds are going to be the most valuable second round picks that we've seen in 5 years.
Yeah, those are probably the only 2 seconds I don't own in that league.
Yeah. So
Well,
I
now
mean, you're
3
gonna
because I traded one
have
away.
first round talent. Like if you're comparing this class to next year's class, the talent in the second round of this class would be mid to late first easily.
Well, I mean, it's like think about last year. Last year we had what 4, 5 quarterbacks go in the first round.
Right.
Well, Josh Allen usually went in the second, but I mean, still that pushes 4 dudes into the second round that should have been in the first in a normal draft.
Right.
So, and that's going to be pretty similar. Not to mention the depth of the actual players coming out. So, yes, like I said before, I'm kind of falling in love with the second round of this draft. I am stockpiling 2s and 3s for 2020, even on teams I'm not rebuilding in. Like rebuilding, same. I still want 1s, but man, 2s and 3s everywhere. Oh man, I almost died right there.
Don't die, please, especially not live.
That was close. I just almost went backwards, like feet in the air. That was that would have been some podcast history right there.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been good history though.
Hey, history's history, man.
All right, so
speaking of history,
yes,
a certain @_James the Brain wants to know.
I was just gonna get to it too. Yep, go ahead.
Who would win in a no holds barred fight to the death between me and @BrianHarFF?
Mm-hmm. I want to hear your answer to this.
I mean, honestly, nice people scare the shit out of me because they're depressing. This is an ugly, ugly world, and if they're still nice, they're hiding something.
I have a lot.
Brian, how many beers is that? I'm less likely to fight you the more beers you have.
This is number 3. They're all IPAs, so.
So yeah, no, I would not fight Brian. But it's really funny. The next part of that is if you guys became a tag team, what other podcast duo would you most hate to face in a tag team fight to the death? The first thing I thought of was Dynasty Happy Hour.
Okay.
Because you and Tyler Gunther would try to kill each other with kindness, and then me, Doug, and Tim would just be sort of standing there like confused by what the hell you guys are doing.
Yeah. Well, it'd be 3-on-2 too, so that wouldn't be good.
Yeah, and you know, one of them's a Patriots fan, so he's probably a cheater, and the other one's from Philly, so he fights dirty.
Right. Yeah. So he'd make you eat.
But that's what you leave me with, by the way. That's what you bring to the fight.
Oh, thanks. You know. What you get paid? Yeah, because me and Tyler are hanging out over here, just talking about all the greatness in the world.
Yeah, you know, apologizing for things that didn't even happen. Oh man, we're supposed to fight. I'm so sorry about that.
So I think here's the other thing. I think the other one that came to mind for me is Dynasty Diagnostic guys. So Aton and Sam. Because Aton is the type of person I feel like that would like he would gouge my eyes out. You know what I mean? Like, and then he would like do something that no one else in the world knows how to do that would make me like choke or something like that. You know, like I don't know, like he would blow like wind into my face and it would choke me or something. Like I don't know. I just wouldn't want to mess with Aton.
See, Stompy would walk into the room, the music. Oh my God, here comes Stompy, and then I would just run.
Oh man. Good stuff.
That's a lie. I would run up to him, I would hug him, and then I would run away. Because I mean, it's Stompy. I want to see. I love that guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'd go hug him and then I would run because he's a big dude, and I don't want to get hurt. I'm fragile. Look at this.
Stompy would like whoop your ass and then he would hug you.
He'd comfort me as I drifted into the darkness. Yeah. He would stand there and stroke my hair as I just faded into nothingness.
Yeah, for sure.
This is a wonderful conversation we're having.
It is. It's wild. I love it. Oh, good stuff.
Okay, so let's do another Trade Addicts trade because I'm curious about this one.
Trade Addicts trade.
Love it. Trade Addicts 1, Lamar Miller for the 208 and 308. What's your take on Lamar Miller in the whole Houston backfield?
So there's a lot of crap going around about Lamar Miller on Twitter right now. Like,
right? Which is kind of why I wanted to bring this up.
Yeah, people are like getting into fights over him. Like, so here's my thing on Miller. I think he is underappreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Having said that, by week 5 of this season, it would not surprise me at all if he is not getting carries at all.
That's scaringly very true.
So, like, so Foreman, who's there also, Deonta,
Deontay.
right?
Or
So
yeah, it's said so many ways. D''ONTA?
Foreman out of
D
Texas.
Foreman.
Yeah, D Foreman. There you go. He looked to be possibly taking that job
I
before
was a
he went down
fan
with.
of him coming out. I was so sad when he popped his Achilles.
Yeah, and Achilles injuries are nasty. I mean, for for elite athletes, Achilles are. I mean, that's an injury that you're not sure that the guy's ever going to be the same again. And especially for a running back who's I don't know. That it does scare me with him. Having said that, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know it's the off season and coach speak season and workout warrior season and all that stuff. I like those videos that I've seen. I mean, he's moving better than I thought he'd be moving. So, I don't know. I don't think. I think regardless, I think that backfield is likely to be a committee, regardless.
Think they draft
So
somebody
I think they could. Yeah,
early? I mean, because drafting someone in the 7th, who cares? I mean, that probably
I
won't matter. So,
I
like,
would. I
2 to
wouldn't.
5.
They probably will. Yeah, they'll probably. Yeah, I would say day. I would say Saturday. Not so maybe not first 2 rounds, but Saturday sometime.
Yeah, I mean, if I feel like in this draft, 4 you can still call a good round for a running back, just because the talent isn't necessarily top end. So it's not like that many running backs are going to get drafted that early. So if you draft someone in the 4th, I still think that shows a decent amount of, I mean, faith might not be the right word, but belief. That's really the same exact thing. So, but kind of like, what was that? The Kenneth Dixon year. Was it 2-3 years ago? Like, no one was really drafted that early. So there was a lot of running backs drafted in like the 4th, and those guys got some play because, but still, that's when the bulk of them were drafted. So it doesn't necessarily matter how early they were drafted in the draft. It was how early they were drafted compared to the rest of the running backs.
Right.
I think that's going to be one of these years.
Mhm.
I think, you'll probably have like maybe 2 or 3 go in like the 2nd and 3rd round. And then like after that. So I don't know. Like, again, like you said, Lamar Miller is good. He has always done well with Deshaun Watson being healthy. If Deontay Foreman can be even what it was towards the end of last season, like he caught a touchdown. Good for like he ran it in. So I mean, so he could actually like move one foot after the other and not die. So they have other places they need to spend their capital. Every single draft pick should be on an offensive lineman. So, I mean, I think spending anything too early on a running back would be silly. So I'm okay going into the season with Lamar Miller on my team, especially first the 208 and 308. I would take Lamar. I would send the 208 and 308 for Lamar Miller. Let me say that.
Yeah, and I think for me, and look, I know you hate me for this, but I legit would. This would be team dependent for me. I mean, if Miller is my RB2, I'm not sending him for that. If he's my RB3 or 4, I'd consider it. I mean, I would consider moving him for a mid-second and a mid-third. It's just one of those things. I'm not enamored by Miller, but I'm not. So I sold.
Well, it's a matter of opportunity as opposed to anything else.
But here's the thing about that, and I think this is where I might differ from some other people. I don't think his opportunity is as secure as a lot of people do. Like I think
open the season?
What's that?
To open the season?
Do
you think he's secure to open the season? Like like you said, the first few weeks.
If Foreman is healthy, I think he eats in pretty quick. because I felt like Foreman was taking over that job before he got hurt. So if he's healthy and can show the same whatever, I don't want to say wiggle. I mean, he's a big dude, so I don't want to say wiggle, but the same. I mean, if he can show the same
weight adjusted agility.
Sure. That's great. Thank you.
Let's
Appreciate
sound
it.
fancy.
Yes, we'll go with it. Then I don't really I can see him getting at least 50% of the work there. Now a couple of the guys in the chat mentioned about Alfred Blue being gone, and that is a positive thing because that son of a gun vultured every year in that offense. So, and the other thing about that is I think they probably would have tried to re-sign him if they didn't feel that Foreman was healthy. So that boosts
I
my
have no idea what Miller's contract is, but we're going to move on because it's Lamar Miller.
Yeah.
J. Mike wants to know Leonard Fournette's value in rookie picks.
Mm-hmm.
What would you both buy or sell Leonard Fournette right now?
I would buy Fournette for a mid first.
All right, let's put it a different way, real quick. Sorry to interrupt. Where would you rank Leonard Fournette in this year's running backs? Like, who's your running back one? Do you have one right now? Is it just Miles Sanders because he's Penn State?
No.
I hear Miles Sanders being a couple of people's running back one now, by the way.
Sanders, Jacobs, and Montgomery, I think, are up there probably. I would take Fournette over all of the running backs this year, I think. Unless so before learning situation.
Right now.
Right. I would probably take him over any of those guys.
So we're gonna assume like 105-ish?
Yep. I think that's right.
Yeah.
Yep. I would sell him. It would take a higher first for me to sell him, though.
I mean, I don't own Fournette. I haven't owned Fournette in a very, very, very long time. What would I buy him for? See, to me, 105 is probably my selling point because I would probably want Sanders over him. And
is he your RB1? I love you.
He kind of is right now. I'm not sold on Josh Jacobs, and I think Montgomery is going to be landing spot dependent more than a lot of these other guys are. I think Sanders shows again, this is me amalgamating a bunch of other people's opinions because I don't watch college football and don't have the time to grind any tape, and I don't know numbers or anything. I think Miles Sanders is more likely to A, get drafted earlier, and B, get more all-around work than Montgomery will, at least right away. So, I mean, that makes him a little bit more valuable, and I think I'd rather have someone... I mean, honestly, I might even want Montgomery before Fournette also. Just someone that does have the ability to not even be a 3-down back, because I think there's just going to be fewer and fewer of them, because we're struggling to find openings for these running backs now, and then there's next year where, oh my god, running backs are coming in. So I don't know if these workhorse situations are going to be there anymore. So I don't know if you can say, well, this guy, 3-down possibility, it's probably not there anymore. But you want someone that's not going to get pulled off for a certain situation. Like, you never want the dude that's going to be pulled off in the 2-minute drill because, or when they're down. Like, you never want just the grinder because he's your game scripted out and screwed. I think in those situations, Miles Sanders is going to be on the field when Leonard Fournette is not. And given something to prove, I think so will Montgomery. So given those two top guys up where they are, I would absolutely sell for the 105. If I'm buying, I'm closer to the 107, 108, somewhere a little further down there. And I don't know if that gets that done anywhere. And I don't even know if I would feel good about it. Like, what do I want to do? 110 to 112. And that's definitely not getting it done. But that's when I would feel safe selling for Fournette.
Mm-hmm. So I guess with me, I mean, I think so. Fournette had a pretty good rookie season.
Yes.
I mean, he had around 300 touches. It was like 305 touches, I think, 304 touches, 1,350 total yards, and that was in 13 games. And then, of course, this year he was plagued with the injuries. I mean, both years, but especially this year. He only played in 8 games this year.
That was all the Jaguars' fault. They just kept bringing him back when he was not ready.
Sure. So, I don't know. I don't know what to think about Fournette. I'm a little bit frustrated in the sense that, I mean, I think that dude was awesome coming out of LSU. I thought, he was banged up a lot, and that still is the issue here. Is the guy going to be healthy? He's talented enough, I think, and people will point to the yards per carry and all that stuff, and that's fine. But
I use yards per carry when it goes in my favor, and that's it.
He's talented enough, and he gets the volume that if he can stay healthy, he's going to be fantasy relevant, and he's probably going to be pushing RB1 numbers.
Yes.
So
I can absolutely get behind that.
He's still only 24 years old. I think the addition of Nick Foles helps. I do.
Actual quarterback.
Yep. I think TJ Yeldon moving on helps.
Poor TJ Yeldon.
Again, yeah, right. Again, the big question is his health. Can the guy stay healthy? And
even before last year, I was willing to consider him Gronk. You were buying Gronk knowing he's not playing 16, but when he did, you were getting top 12 at his position per game. And I kind of felt like that's what Fournette was.
Yeah, the difference for me between those two players, I think so. So I understand your point, and I think that's a valid point. The difference is, I think with Gronk, when Gronk played, you weren't getting top 12 at the position. You were getting top 2 or 3 at the position. Yeah. With Fournette, it's more top 10 to 12 or 10 to 15 at the position. So that's the difference to me. But that's a good point. I mean, yeah, I think you're right. I think the assumption is there that that Fournette has an injury history. So, you just weigh that out in terms of how you value him and where you're taking him in startups and all that. And then you better have a backup plan.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So let's hit up the last Trade Addicts trade I have on here.
Trade Addicts trade.
Trade Addicts 5, Mark Ingram and Marlon Mack for Jarvis Landry and the 112.
Landry side.
Whee! Finally. Jeez. Okay, so the reason this surprised me, this was me and Fuego Takes. Now, if you remember back to a certain open bar episode, Frank said that Jarvis Landry was going to be like a top 5 wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, he was messaging me. He's like, let's just get a trade done. Let's get a trade done. I'm like, dude, the only player I really want right now on your team is Jarvis Landry, and I just don't think I'm going to pay what you want for him with what you think of him. Mm-hmm. And then he literally sent me this. Like, there was no negotiating done. Like, he's like, Ingram and Mack for Landry in the 112. And I stopped and I'm like, I think I was more taken aback that it was reasonable. Yeah. Which is why I didn't negotiate at all. And I'm like, I've been going after Ingram and Mack for a while now, and I have a lot of them. It's the same thing with Cook. Like, I know you're not really supposed to take into account how much you have, like how many shares you have, really. It should be in a vacuum what you're doing. But yeah, I can't help myself. Like, I have a bunch of Ingram and Mack at this point, and honestly, I want Landry now that Odell is there. I'm hoping Landry gets thrown into the slot and goes back to what he was in Miami. I know before last year we did the bull takes, and my bull take was that Landry was going to be a top 12 wide receiver in wide receiver 1 fashion, and I was very, very wrong. Even though his ADOT went up by like 4 yards, but it's still, the production wasn't there. Mm-hmm. So I'm a big fan of this. Like, honestly, Landry over Mack, and I mean Ingram over the 112, but I don't know by how much, really. I don't know if his value is really ever going to like he's an old running back. I don't think his trade value is ever going to be near his fantasy value.
Mm-hmm.
So you talk about this because it's mine and I've been rambling.
Yeah. So I think so I like the situation that Mark Ingram has gone into in Baltimore. I think that's a good situation for him.
Probably the best that could have fallen.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I really like the situation. I think he fits there well. I'm not looking forward to the Steelers playing him twice a year in that offense with Lamar Jackson in that zone read and all that. I think I think it's a great landing spot. He's a little bit older, but I like it. I mean, I like Ingram. I think he's a guy that I've looked at trying to get on the teams that I'm contending with, especially if I need some running back depth. And Marlon Mack is a guy that up until this point he has survived. So here's the deal with Mack. If we're sitting here on May 1st or April, what's the draft? 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th. If we're sitting here on April 30th and Marlon Mack is still the RB1 for Indy and they haven't drafted a guy. Okay, so if their backs are Mack and Nyheim Hines and Jordan Wilkins, if those are their backs and he's still the RB1 in Indy, his value goes absolutely through the roof. He has had the most fortunate offseason as far as a running back goes. I mean, I thought there was literally, I mean, they had $130 million to spend this offseason. And they haven't done anything in the backfield. Not one thing.
Anything besides Funches, right? Like, what else have they done?
Right. So, I mean, I am, Marlon Mack to me, I mean, I have been fading all along because the assumption for me has been that, I mean, he's run well. There's no doubt about it. When he's been the guy there, he's run well when he's been healthy. I mean, he's done awesome. He's been really good. I just never expected him to keep that job. If he gets through the draft and keeps the job, this deal's a lot closer to me. I still think I would lean slightly towards the Landry side here, regardless, but it's a lot closer if Max survives the draft. On the other side of this, Jarvis Landry, I think there's not going to be a player on that team that benefits more from Odell Beckham being in that offense than Jarvis Landry. Maybe Nick Chubb to an extent, but
they're never going to see a stacked box.
Yeah, right. But Jarvis Landry's going to get his now. I mean, he's gonna return to that Miami player that's catching, high 80s to low hundreds of passes. And, if he can score a few more touchdowns than he did in Miami, it's going to be nice. He's going to be a nice player to own. And then the 112, that's going to get you a player. I would equate that to a player like Max stature. A player that if it's the right situation could really excel. Or be a player that is kind of tied up in a committee or maybe a wide receiver 2 or 3, with some upside. So I prefer the Landry side in this deal. But again, I think it's a lot closer. I still would take the Landry side, even if Max survives the draft, but it's a lot closer if he survives the draft.
Yeah, no, I'm scared of falling into the Alex Collins thing I fell into last year, getting too excited about someone surviving the draft and free agency and all of that. I really do like Mac, and he balled at the end of last year.
Mm-hmm.
He's also his share of lower leg injuries, which I'm trying to stay away from. But I mean, like, running backs behind guys like Andrew Luck or, like Peyton Manning used to be, and if they ever had a real coach in Green Bay who will just let Aaron Jones get the effing ball more than 6 times a game, like those guys do well just because of the level of quarterback in front of them.
Right.
And if Marlon Mack can get 12, 15 touches, which I think is super realistic, I think he can easily be 12 to 15 running back.
Mhm.
And for the price he just bought him at, that's great.
Yeah.
That's, you know, but there's also, they brought in Jay Ajayi for a visit, even though that didn't lead anywhere. They have, like you said, they have so much money. I can't imagine they go running back early in the draft or anything, but there's still TJ Yeldon out there. There's still a couple of guys that could be brought in. I don't know. I don't dislike Mac in any way, shape, or form. I would still go buy him on another team. I just honestly, Frank took me like he shook me by sending me a fair offer when he was giving up Landry, and I took it. All right, hold on. You and your stupid not wanting to talk about trades out in public.
What?
Because you're telling J Mike you countered and you're open to discussion, but you're only open to discussing it in private.
Correct. I can tell you the deal JD sent me since he gave me permission to do so. If you want. JD, Goat District.
Okay. Oh, get that offer? Yeah, go too.
Yeah. So he offered T.Y. Hilton and a 2024 for Michael Gallup, Allen Robinson, and a 2022, which I am not going to do.
I'm very into TY right now, but still, that's too much.
So what I said in earlier on was he came after my guys, and Robinson and Gallup are both guys that I've been buying this offseason. So I'm not overly interested in moving those guys. I do like TY, but I don't like him, I don't think, as much as you. So I don't know. I'm going to be looking at his roster currently to see if I see anything else that we might be able to do. But man, he's got a badass logo too. That helmet looks awesome.
Who?
JD, yeah, the Goat District helmet that he puts it up for his team page. That looks awesome. I would wear that to work. Oh, I'm serious. I would wear it to work. It's awesome. It's the right colors too. Black and
probably
lime
not a
green.
great idea.
No problem. Well, actually, it might be a good idea.
Well, necessary and good idea.
Yeah, good point. Good point. So,
all right,
I got like 4 trade offers from guys in the chat right now. So I'm working back and forth. James sent me one over.
I got one from Spoonie that I'm not going to take. Sorry, Spoonie.
And Frank just made a deal in Trade Addicts 5.
Oh yeah, we should. No, we're going to talk about that. We need to save some trades for tomorrow because we're recording our actual.
That's right.
We did 4 of them. So yeah, no, we're going to save that for tomorrow.
Yeah. So what? Do you want to do this flag plant thing that Frank? That our other.
I was going to do that one or the one above it. You pick.
Oh man, let's do them both. Screw it. It's our year.
Yeah,
let's do it. Let's do both.
So. You wanted to do the flag plant.
Yeah, let's do Frank.
At Frank ME43, Trade Addicts 5 shout out. What's up? Wants to know what guys are you planting your flag in outside of the top 50?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna join Stompy and John Hogan planting a flag in Albert Wilson. It's honestly that took a little bit of a hit with Ryan Fitzpatrick because he's more of a YOLO, DGAF, close your eyes and chuck it. But still, he's better than any of the wide receivers on that team. I'm not going to fall for Devontae Parker anymore.
Interesting.
So I have a lot of Albert Wilson. One more time. Albert Wilson shares, and I'm pretty happy about it.
Nice. I like it.
I see Chris Godwin at 61. I know that's all your guy.
It's not where I'm going though.
Yeah, and I'm just scrolling through and I just saw his name. All right, you go while I scroll.
I am going to plant. I'm going to plant my flag.
Nice.
I'm going to plant my flag with Christian Kirk.
I like it.
This is a guy that I loved coming out of the draft class last year, and I just
real
like.
Quick.
Yep.
At Red Hawks FF created the helmet that you love for.
Yeah, Jeffrey. That's Jeffrey. He does good work too. He's another man. Well, there's a lot of talented graphic designers and artists in the Dynasty community. I've noticed that.
Man, if you ever want to join a league, go hit up Jeffrey too. That dude just like runs 80,000 leagues.
Yeah, I think he's literally in like 100 leagues or something
All
like
right.
that.
So Christian Kirk, sorry.
Yeah,
Go.
so no, that's okay. Christian Kirk for me is a guy that I was really excited about coming out of A&M there in last year's draft class. You know, he showed some flashes, I thought, throughout the year. He played in 13 games, 43 catches for 590 yards, so almost 600 yards and 3 touchdowns. 12 games, I'm sorry. Got banged up a little bit, struggled a little bit because of the inconsistent quarterback play from Josh Rosen that wasn't necessarily his fault either. I think that offensive line and some of the play calling earlier in the season was a little bit rough.
It's putting it very nicely.
Yeah, so I expect Kirk is going to have a prominent role in that offense moving forward. Larry Fitzgerald is obviously there this season, but moving forward, he's not going to be. So there's going to be targets to be had in that offense. It wouldn't surprise me if they continue to bring in wide receivers as well. But I think Kirk has an opportunity to stand out there. He also, I believe, I'm not 100% sure on this, but Kyler Murray, if they draft Murray, he also played at Texas A&M before Oklahoma. Or was he at Texas Tech? I don't know if he was at A&M or if he was at Tech. That's going to bug me. Somebody in the chat tell me.
Not going to bug me at all.
It's going to bug me, dude. Shouldn't know that stuff. He played at A&M, I believe. Yeah, he played at A&M. So before he went to Oklahoma. And I think Christian Kirk was there for at least one season with him. So
that's where he played.
Yeah, so I think he and Rosen can possibly make a pretty good connection. They showed it a couple times last year. I think if Murray ends up being the quarterback in Arizona, I think there's an opportunity for those two to connect. So Kirk's a guy that I'm still pretty high on. I think the shiny new bright whatever that he may have had last season has worn off a bit. I think because under 600 yards in his rookie season, and again, we're spoiled now by these rookie wide receivers that come into the league and go for 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns or whatever, and he didn't do that. So I think some people probably that scares them away a little bit if they invested high draft capital in him. For me, he's a player that I'm looking to buy. I think he's going to take the next step, and I like Kirk. So that'll be
my bull take before last year was Kirk coming on strong pretty quickly and being like a top 24 wide receiver or the 24th wide receiver, like bottom wide receiver too. Clearly that didn't happen, but I like the player, so I'm all in on that one. So I scrolled pretty far down and I went past 100. Curtis Samuel is someone I've been buying pretty heavily. Austin Hooper, if the guy in your league who owns Austin Hooper isn't the Austin Hooper truther, you should be able to get him very cheap. And if you're not going to buy the top 3 tight ends, go after someone as cheap as Austin Hooper. Matt Breida, just because who the hell knows, something's going to happen in that backfield, whether they even, because they could still get out of Jerick McKinnon, even though I don't want them to. And even still, running backs get hurt. So you're going to get Breida pretty cheap. And he could be an RB2 for you because that's what Breida does, apparently. The Gazelles down here. I'm sure we're both Deshaun Hamilton fans. Yeah, I think that's as far as I'm willing to go when we're talking about flant plagging.
Flant plagging, nice.
Yeah, it's a thing now.
Nice. New shirt.
Plant your plagues, everybody.
Flags.
All right, you got anybody else that low?
Well, I've already talked about Gallup and liking him, so I won't necessarily go there, I guess. Boy. No, I'm not seeing anything that's sticking out.
Okay, you're a wuss.
All right.
Okay,
Vance
so
McDonald. I will plant my flag with Vance McDonald.
because he'll stiff arm it deep enough into the ground that it's never moving anywhere.
Somebody into the ground. So the drive-through, Vance, the drive-through, McDonald.
Justin Watson. Get that Justin Watson stuff out of here, Spoonie. I mean, to be fair, he has a bit of that opportunity that we were hoping he would have gotten last year. Now that Deshaun is actually gone, Deshaun gone.
Right.
Yeah, I hope he'll get some play. He'll be on the. Well, I guess they talked about Chris Godwin moving into the slot, which is a big deal in an Arians offense.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good for him, which will put Justin Watson on the outside. So that's good. But let's move on. We're gonna have one more question, and then you'll get to what you just typed in there.
Yeah.
At I'm gonna Bingy or Bingy, however you want to say it, BINGY_3. Again, Trade Addicts 5, shout out. Your best buy low and sell high QBs in a super flex league.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you got?
Buy low's Josh Rosen. Still, for me, I know a lot of people are done. He was what?
That is stupid to be out on him already.
Yeah, I agree.
Ooh,
I mean,
Trey Quinn, I missed him. He's totally one of my flags too. I've been buying him everywhere.
You have been buying him a lot of places. Yep, you talked about him on the show last week.
Thank you, David Hill, for pointing that out.
Yeah, so the couple quarterbacks for me, I mean, so Rosen is one. He's currently quarterback 26 according to DLF ADP right now. I that to me, I mean, I guess it makes sense given the struggles this season. But I easily could see him moving into the top 15, potentially. Definitely the top 20. So yeah, I still think Josh Rosen has a lot of upside. He was my quarterback one coming out last year.
Well, that's just wrong.
You know what though? It wasn't wrong at the time.
Yes,
I don't think it was. I mean, I had Baker close second. I
know, I'm just messing with you. No,
but
Rosen was my 2 easily.
Yeah. So I mean, I think I just think people are too reactionary. Yes, there's some concerns in Arizona in that offense, or in New York if he gets traded there, or wherever he ends up. I mean, there are going to be concerns until he shows it, right? But I don't know. I think we're a little bit too quick to move away from a 22-year-old, second-year quarterback. So, and then the other one for me is Dak.
I love me some Dak. I mean, Dak's QB 12.
He's good. Prescott is good. And obviously, he struggled when Zeke was out. And I think that's legitimate. That's a legitimate.
People haven't washed that stink off though, even though he's still finished as a top 12 QB.
That's right. I agree with that. I mean, people have Lamar Jackson over Dak. Right now, Lamar Jackson is a quarterback 12. Prescott's 13. I would take Prescott 10 out of 10 times over Lamar Jackson. I know
I'm looking at Superflex ADP.
Stompy is probably doing backflips and cussing. And if you broke your computer, Sam, I apologize.
And if you are doing backflips, please record that so we can see that.
That would be amazing. I don't understand that at all. I don't get that at all. I mean, I agree with Sam that Jackson is a better passer than a lot of people think he is.
Well, hopefully better than he showed.
But Prescott, I mean, it's Dak is, to me, he's a player that is undervalued. So, Carson Wentz at his current value, he's a quarterback 7. I would take him higher than that. He's a top 5 quarterback to me.
Okay, no. Wentz or Russell Wilson?
I would probably take Wentz, and here's why. I have to explain this.
You don't want to have to wait till the second half of the season for Russell Wilson to start scoring points.
Well, and just the offense. Again, I've bitched and moaned the last couple of weeks about how he doesn't have receiving weapons. I mean, Doug Baldwin is now hurt again and out for who knows how long, and he's getting older. He's got a deep threat in Tyler Lockett, but eventually defenses are going to start figuring that out. And then where is he going to throw the ball? Can you tell me? Because I don't know. I mean,
Hakeem
Chard
Butler.
Penny, if he's on the field, who?
Hakeem Butler. I actually
Okay,
really
so
like
so
David
here.
Moore.
Mm,
He disappeared at the end of last year, but he had a stint of doing really well. It's funny, like they have these big guys on their team that they throw to for like 2-3 game spurts, like Chris Matthews that year in the Super Bowl
Yep.
when they lost, and then they disappear, they go away. Like if they just stuck with these big guys, it would be good for the team because they'd have someone to throw to, like what they
Yeah.
did with Jimmy Graham, like third downs and in the end zone. That's all you need the big guy for. Just keep using them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but I'm not gonna go Seahawks crazy.
You should. They're your boys. So, no, I just, I think the thing that concerns me about Wilson, so 1, 2, 3, 4, he had 6 games last year where he threw more than 30 passes. He was
I mean,
pretty
did you like the Dwayne Brown, the left tackle, going on the air and like Good Morning Football saying that they need to throw the ball more?
good. They should throw
Loved
the
it.
ball more. They have an elite quarterback, but until I see them actually do it, that's why I think, I don't know. I that's close. That's close. But
I was just curious to see because you said you were calling Wentz the top five, so I was
Mhm.
curious who you would push out of the top five.
Yeah, I think probably Wilson. And
All right,
I would jump. So I know this is going to be super unpopular.
you're gonna drop Baker out.
Yeah, I would probably put Wentz above Baker still.
Well, I know Tyler Gunther would appreciate that because
Yeah.
he did that 1-for-1 trade.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, I would probably I would probably boy, that's tough though.
Right.
I mean, I think right now I would 3 games into the season that might not be the case. If seeing if that offense materializes the way we think it might, it would be hard to move him over Baker in that case. But I have to see, I guess I have to see it first.
All right. So
Yeah.
my sell right now, honestly, if I could, I don't have Josh Allen anywhere, probably, because I wouldn't be willing to pay for him. But if people still have those last 5 games stuck in their head, I would sell Josh Allen in a heartbeat. The dude getting like 125 rushing yards running for his life will either A, end when the team gets a little better by hopefully drafting and getting players or signing players, or B, he will die eventually. Like that's not sustainable. And while we always say, he has the gigantic arm, and they have Robert Foster and then signed Smokey, so get dudes that could run very far. He had a horribly inaccurate deep ball also.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'm just put the production I think is overcorrecting people's value on him. Like he was pretty much trash, and then he came in at the end of after his injury last year and started scoring all these fantasy points, and now all of a sudden, he's only quarterback 17 in March, but I think his trade value is much higher than that. So like honestly, if I have Josh Allen, I'm trading him for give me Philip Rivers plus, give me a steady quarterback for the next few years.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't necessarily need those legs to get me points.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else I'm selling, like Jared Goff. I like him. I don't know if he's even going to repeat last year again. I don't have any factual basis for this.
He's getting Cooper Kupp back.
Yeah.
He was a
How
different
long
quarter.
can that
He was a
offense stay together?
different quarterback after he went out.
Absolutely, that offense. That was a different offense after Cooper Kupp went out. So that is a very good point. So maybe I'll sell Goff halfway through the season.
There you go.
I don't like. I forgot. Like Aton was offering me a trade of Goff plus for Mahomes, and I'm just like, I do. I mean, to be fair, his offer in the plus just wasn't enough to get me there anyway. But like, I don't know if that's a downgrade I want to make, which is why I'm saying this now. Like, I don't. I don't think I want. I definitely don't want Goff as my first quarterback in a super flex league, and he's quarterback 8 in March ADP. So that's why I'm a little on the sell side of him, because he's ranked as a QB1, and I don't really want him as my QB1.
Well, and I'd put so sell wise, I didn't do a sell, but my sell, I could see selling Cam Newton right now too.
He's
Well,
valued way too low. That's the problem.
yeah, actually, I take that back. I wouldn't sell him right now. I'd sell him the first chance you get after he has a big
Yeah,
game.
that first Hail Mary he throws where people can see that his arm's better.
Right. Right. Yeah, he's not a sell right now because I think everybody's a little bit worried about that shoulder. But he would be a guy that I'd be looking to move on from as soon as possible once I could get top 10 quarterback value out of him. So,
yeah. Mitchell Trubisky is quarterback 16.
I saw that. I think that's undervalued too, to be honest. I'd take him over Jimmy Garoppolo. Frank's probably burning his house down right now. Don't do that, buddy.
The Fuego takes melt on their own. He can't control it. Sam Darnold at quarterback 18 is my buy like crazy. I don't know. I am kind of all in on Sam Darnold and Deshaun Watson this offseason, it seems. Especially in rebuilds, in Trade Addicts 3 and in the UDPL, the Ultimate Dynasty Podcasters League. Yeah, that's it. I inherited this garbage of a team. And the first thing I did was I traded for Deshaun Watson and Sam Darnold. And ever since, Memphis from Warzone has been trying to get Darnold from me. And I'm just like, especially on this team, given how bad it is, like I can't see me trading Darnold right now unless you're giving me a comparable quarterback plus. But at that point, I might as well just stick with the quarterback I believe in.
Right.
So I'm kind of just stuck on him.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's round this up. I can't even go with the I'm tired thing. Maybe I just need to drink coffee more often, like right before we record, because I'm
there you go.
Tired. I just cursed.
There you go.
I'm not editing that out. Go. You talk.
Yeah. So my favorite two players in the National Football League right now, currently, Saquon Barkley. That one's a given. I think. I mean, anybody that has interacted with me more than about 2 seconds knows that. And second is Juju. I love Juju. I love Juju Smith-Schuster. I love his personality. He plays for my Steelers, so it just seems like a really great kid. Beyond that, I have a new third favorite player in the league, and that is a guy that I've liked for a long time. Anyways. But I like him even more as of today, and that's Keenan Allen. I don't know how many of you have seen this today, but Keenan Allen put Le'Veon Bell absolutely on blast as far as his rap music goes. Le'Veon dropped a track today, or a 40-second video clip of one of his rap videos or whatever, and ask Twitter, if it was fire or trash. And Keenan Allen comes out and says that I got to be real, it's trash, man. And it just is hilarious to me. I don't know. And then they had a Twitter beef too, which is hilarious.
Lev Bell replied with, "Dude, why don't you just text me if that's the way you felt?" And Keenan's reply was just like completely honest. You asked.
Yeah, I'm not. So Le'Veon says, if you honestly felt that way, you could have just texted me and said that. But it seems even when people check marks want to troll, so seek a. Wow, this is all over the place. Even people with check marks want to troll to seek attention for mentions nowadays. Enjoy this buzz fuzz. It's still all positive vibes. And Keenan says, I was not trolling on my mama, bro. I don't troll. Like I said, I speak facts. You shouldn't have asked if you ain't want the truth. All love over here. It's hilarious to me. I'm probably going out and buying a powder blue San Diego / Los Angeles Chargers jersey with Keenan Allen's name and number on it. The number 13 is special to me to begin with. So that may be my next jersey purchase. If any of y'all are ordering jerseys from anywhere, let me know. And we'll
give you his address.
Hook it up. So, but that's hilarious to me. Absolutely hysterical. So anyways, that was just we talked about that earlier. Russ and I talked about that earlier, and thought we'd mention it here during the show. So.
All right. So while it is not the end of our show sheet, and while I am not tired, we have been going for 2 hours and 10 minutes. So it is still the end of our show.
And the chat is still litty.
Still going.
Awesome, guys.
Love all of you.
Yeah, we and you know, this show, again, as we mentioned, and as most of you know, this is celebrating a year of the show being out there. I just personally want to say on the air per se that I'm very thankful for Russ and for what he has done here and created in terms of the Trade Addicts stuff. And very honored and thankful for the opportunity to be a part of this. You know, Russ, we've talked about it a million times, and I'll say it again. You're a friend to me, and I certainly appreciate that. You know, I hope that we get a chance to do this for a long time, because it's an absolute joy and a blast to do, and we hope that everyone out there enjoys it as well. So that's where I'll leave it, and just say thank you.
Likewise. Never in my wildest dreams did I actually think anyone would ever listen to me talk about fantasy football. I mean, I don't even remember what I was thinking when I started this, especially when I did the first episode completely by myself. Like, why the hell anyone would ever bother listening to me? And I remember my second I meant to shout him out when he was still in the chat, but Tyler Gee, my second episode, he jumped on because he's in Trade Addicts 1, and I'm like, I need someone to talk with me, please. I can't do this by myself. And then after that episode comes out, I went through Trade Addicts 1 and 2 chats. I'm like, who wants to go on the show? And Brian, who at the time had one of the site's initials in front of your name, I can't remember who it was anymore.
Yeah.
And
DFF, Dynasty Football Factory at that time.
Yeah, at DFF_Brian. And you're just like, I've been looking to get into podcasting. I'm like, dude, this guy writes for somebody. You be my co-host, man. How about every show? You come on, man. You have credibility. Let's do this. Like, never in my wildest dreams did I actually think I would actually like you and keep you around for a year. And like you said, you know, it's funny, like, you know, I give you a hard time you know, when we're recording, but off air when I'm actually being myself as opposed to an arrogant jerk, which is just fun to do. I absolutely consider you an actual friend and not just someone I met on the internet. So thank you very much. Thank you everybody who listens. Again, it's crazy to think that people do listen, and it like legitimately makes me happy, probably more than it should, that people actually give a damn about this whole Trade Addicts crap I sort of dreamed up one day. Like when we had 100 people sign up for Trade Addicts 5, like seriously, like I was trying to brag about this to people that had no idea what the hell I was talking about and looked at me like I was crazy.
They don't get it.
But again, thank you everybody. Brian, thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
This stuff is just so awesome and wouldn't be the same without you at this point. But at the risk of getting too mushy, Brian's seat is absolutely for sale if anybody else wants it.
I'll fight you.
Just saying, I'm taking applications. Yes, the fight would be telecast on our YouTube live. Might be a rap battle, I'm not sure.
Well, just don't. Gabe can't enter. He's disqualified because there's no chance at all that anyone is beating him. So,
oh man, we're getting a Gabe opening. I'm so excited for that.
Oh, me too. I can't wait.
All right, but no, wrapping up. I mean, I am wearing the wrong sweatshirt because I had my Trade Addicts sweatshirt on for like 5 days before. Brian's rocking it. TradeAddictsPod.StoreEnvy.com. All of this stuff is so damn comfortable. Those shirts, the hoodies are so good. I'm a huge fan of them, and I'm not just saying that because they have my logo on it. I'm wearing the Trade DTHQ hoodie, which is the same as ours, and it is very, very comfy. So go buy stuff, rep the brand, #brand, and we will love you even more for it. Speaking of making us love you more, patreon.com/TradeAddictsPod. If you had fun watching us live and getting to contribute, if you become a $5 Patreon, not only do you get the YouTube link like you do now, you get in on the Cool Kids Club, which is our chat, and that I keep open, and I think Brian does also while we're recording. So we have randomly answered questions or at least laughed at the stuff they're talking about. Like if you didn't see last week, both Eitan and Brian were wearing hats and I wasn't. So I went scrounging through my basement and I found my 5-year-old son's Super Mario hat, which did not fit my head. And it was very uncomfortable, but I still wore it for the first 10 minutes. And, hilarious. But again, anything, even if you think about going to that Patreon site and looking at our stuff, I'd appreciate it just because that shows you're thinking about us and that, we survive on our sustenance is your love. So
that's what we're here for. Love.
Yeah. So on So on that note, night, Brian.
Night, Outhouse. Night, everybody.